Hello, everyone. This is Lenard Guzman here. Well, on the Life After D podcast, I'm here, which looks like Cancun. I think Ted Cruz is here somewhere. I'm gonna read this. It's February 22nd, 2021. We're here with Emily Robinson on the Life After D podcast, and here we are. In the middle of pandemic vaccines, I think. I don't know if that affects divorces in court. Does it, Emily?
Not so far. I don't think anybody in the court is essential. Well, I don't know if they're considered essential workers for vaccine, but I don't think enough people have been vaccinated yet for it to really affect anything. I think that court employees and public defenders and people like that maybe in the next tier, but I don't think we've gotten there yet.
Okay, well, let's get to the news. Like, it's just blowing up. I know we talked about it beforehand about the Kim Kardashian Kanye West divorce. So here we go. So BuzzFeed. I don't know. I don't know if you read BuzzFeed.
Sometimes, yeah.
I don't know. Like TMZ gets all the attention, but let's go to BuzzFeed first. Okay. Kim Kardashian broke her social media silence after officially filing for divorce from Kanye West. After 2 days of radio silence, Kim returned to Instagram on Sunday night. By now, I'm sure you've heard the news that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West are officially divorcing after 6 years of marriage. Divorce speculation had been mounting for, after weeks after Page Six revealed in early January that Kim had decided the marriage was over, following the years of tumultuousness. Ooh, that's a big word. This is just stuff. BuzzFeed does this thing where it gathers news, but it's like it aggregates in a way, and it makes it it's like very memey. Like it's like you can digest it really well. But for now, let's go to TMZ. They always have the good stuff. Okay. Kim Kardashian has filed to divorce Kanye West after 7 years of marriage, but our sources say it's amicable as divorce can be. Kim is asking for joint legal and physical custody of the couple's 4 kids. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ Kanye is fine with the joint custody arrangement, and we're told both Kim and Ye are committed to co-parenting together. That's a prenup. There's a prenup, and we're told neither party is contesting it. In fact, our sources say they've already been far along in reaching a property settlement agreement. The docs filed by DISO. I think that's like a short thing for divorce attorney. DISO queen, Laura Wasser, don't list date of separation. It's listed as to be determined. The date is almost irrelevant because their split has been so well chronicled in news and social media. Let's see. So it has to do with Kanye saying Kris Jenner. So Kim Kardashian's mom as Kris Jong-un. And then there was bouts of serious bipolar episodes, and on and on and on. So this is probably the divorce of the year, Emily.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so Kim went and hired, the big female divorce attorney, Laura Wasser, who does all the celebrity divorces. She's Angelina Jolie's lawyer, Johnny Depp's lawyer. She does a lot of the celebrity cases. It sounds like it may not be that complicated if no one's contesting the prenup and they're basically trying to work out things through settlement. I think it's interesting that it says no one's contesting custody, because I thought the whole reason for the divorce was the bipolar and her not necessarily thinking he's fit to take care of the kids. So it's interesting that that's not an issue, but sounds like they've worked that out. So I'm sure they'll both still spend a lot of money on this, and they're they're high-priced lawyers, even if they do settle. But hopefully they do settle so that it can be less money. You know, I'm not sure if you need the big Beverly Hills guns if you're going to settle everything, but I think that's just sort of what the celebrities do.
Yeah, let's elaborate here. So, WallStreetJournal.com. So she has a piece, Laura Wasser. So it starts out Kim Kardashian West divorce lawyer Laura Wasser on what makes a marriage work. It's kind of ironic. Okay.
She does a lot of writing. She, you know, she even has, I think, some like simple, you know, less expensive divorce tool on her website that you can do if, you know, you aren't going to have a crazy celebrity divorce. I mean, she's been around a while. She knows what she's doing. She's in Beverly Hills, I believe.
Oh wow, those are like no one's in the office anymore. I'm sure she's probably working at home too on Zoom. I wonder what her Zoom setup is like.
I know, right? That's interesting.
She has like a courthouse in her house. So let's see what she says. So she's the attorney to Armie Hammer. Ooh, that's gonna be a juicy one. Angelina Jolie, Britney Spears, who on Friday filed papers for Kim Kardashian West, divorced from Kanye West, has have the kind of unromantic talk that you would have if you were going to enter into a prenuptial agreement, even if you're not. So in their series with WSJ Magazine, My Monday Morning, self-motivated people tell Wall Street Journal how they start off the week. Divorce looks different during the pandemic. One memorable image of this time is a screenshot of Mary Kate Olsen, Oliver Sarkozy's Zoom divorce hearing that went viral last month. Seeing such high-profile proceedings unfold on the same video call software that's used for office all-hands meetings and conference calls was a novelty for many, but celebrity divorce attorney Laura Wasser of Wasser Cooperman and Mandless is enjoying the efficiency of it. The nature of family law has always been a lot of in-person hand-holding meetings face-to-face. She says, I can have 5 or 6 meetings a day on Zoom, which I could never have before. Wasser doesn't expect Olsen or Sarkozy, but on Friday she filed divorce papers for Kim Kardashian West and her long rumored divorce from, we should just shorten this like KW, like from Kanye West. It's her second time representing Kardashian West. The first was the social media star and entrepreneur's second divorce from Chris Humphries in 2013. Wasser's other clients have included Britney Spears in 2007, from Kevin Federline, Angelina Jolie, from Brad Pitt in 2016, and in 2018, Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck, who hired Wasser to mediate their divorce instead of opting for separate lawyers. She's also currently representing Armie Hammer, whose wife, Elizabeth Chambers, filed for divorce. So, okay, yeah, the lawyers work with household names and are under the tabloid nickname Disso Queen, short for Disso of marriage. Okay, see, I didn't know what that was. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Wasser was married once before in '93 for 1 year. She has 2 sons, 15 and 11. So it's the family attorney played by Laura Dern. So I guess she's in a movie. Okay, so in Marriage Story, the family law attorney played by Laura Dern is rumored to be based on Wasser, who represented. So I didn't watch that movie on Netflix. I think I watched the first 5 minutes. I had to turn off, but she's a big deal. Like, so she's saying have the talk. It's probably cringy. It's like very awkward among couples and cringy. So how would you have this conversation? Or like you've gone through enough of these. Just get through the awkwardness and just.
You mean the talk before you file for divorce?
Well, it says here like that, so we can talk about that, and then like she says like have the talk have the kind of unromantic talk that you would have if you were going into a prenuptial agreement, even if you're not.
Oh, that talk. Okay, sorry. There were a few different things you hit on, so I wasn't sure which one you're talking. I mean,
Yeah,
look,
I'm everywhere.
you just have to, because divorce and marriage, unfortunately, are like kind of a business transaction and a legal transaction too, on top of an emotional transaction. And there's just things, it can't just be emotions and fairyland and, thinking about happily ever after. There's real life logistical issues that really have to be discussed. And I, you just have to get, like you said, get through the awkwardness and do it. It's like anything that's awkward at work or anything. It's just you have to be a grown up and have the talk. It's because the alternative is, you push everything under the rug and it ends up exploding one day.
Okay. All right, let's get off of the celebrity divorces. So this article from San Francisco News, how education affects marriage and divorce. Higher education levels seem to have a beneficial effect on marriage and a negative effect on divorce rates. According to Pew, a research at college-educated women are more likely to experience a long-lasting marriage. The average survival rate of college-educated wives in their marriages is at least 20 years. Researchers at the National Center for Health Statistics found that 78% of college-educated women remain married after 2 decades. Still, only 40% of women with high school diplomas lasted 2 decades into their marriage. Why college education strengthens marriage? Although the reasons college education seems to strengthen marriage weren't addressed in the mentioned research, it's relatively easy to extrapolate. College graduates typically marry later, so they bring greater maturity to marriage. If we keep going down, education and marital events have strong causative ties that operate independently of the factors behind the current trend of increased divorce rates. Societal changes over the past 50 to 100 years would seem to favor an increased divorce rate. These changes to society norms include, let's just go through it. The rise of women's liberation movement. This is 100 years back. Gay marriages and acceptance of same-sex cohabitation, increases in women's workforce, gradual lessening of the gender pay gap, changes in the perception of gender roles, the sexual revolution, availability of no fault divorce, increases in the stigma of divorce. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense. I think that there is something to be said for, college probably delays people getting married. And then you're more mature and older when you get married. And, also you're more grown up. And so the chance of you outgrowing each other is less because you may grow in the same direction instead of different directions. So I think that all makes sense. I mean, I also think it could be a generalization. There's a lot of people that get married very young and it lasts forever. So, but I do think that could definitely play a part in it. Getting older, being older, and having kids older could make the marriage more sustainable.
Yeah, like for guys, like, because some of my friends are, whether they're younger or older, they ask me, because I'm married, of course. They'll and I'd say, like, look, it's better to, like, if you're unsure, just be older, because it's like you go through so much in marriage, and it's better if you're just, I don't know, as guys, you just want to get those things out of your system, and you, like, I don't know, that's the advice I would give. So I think at age, gosh, it's like, I think 35 to 40, like, if I don't know, like, it's just people are getting married later, and I don't know. So that was for women. Guys, it's like a different story. We're maniacs. Okay. With that said, let's go into the part of the show called Ask Emily. Was it Ask Emily? I'm in Cancun, so I'm kind of like dazing off here.
I think it was Dear Emily.
Okay. Dear Emily, we have to edit it out. Okay. So this part of the show, Dear Emily, we go through people's posts online about divorce, whether they're starting their process, whether they have questions about alimony, whether, whether they're handling it right, because there's a lot of mental health issues, especially now with social media. So they just got unplugged. So in this part of the show, Emily goes over things and advice and tips, and see if we can go through these. There's this particular one that I'm seeing, and I can't resist this post. So this is a life after divorce one, and Louis C.K. he appeared. He has a bit about divorce here. So let's see. Were you a Louis C.K. fan?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, he always makes you laugh somehow, but they canceled him. So let's see what he has to say about divorce. He goes, I love being divorced. Every year has been better than the last. That is the only time I could say that about my life. By the way, I'm not saying don't get married. If you meet someone, fall in love, and get married, then get divorced. Get divorced, because that's the best part. It's the best part. Marriage is like a larvae stage for true happiness, which is divorce. Divorce is forever. It really actually is. Marriage is how long you can hack it, but divorce just gets stronger, like a piece of oak. No one ever says, "Oh, my divorce is falling apart. I just can't take it." That's a bit.
Well, that's kind of depressing, but also, it's comedy. I think especially for celebrities, it's hard to stay married. I liked him before all his drama, happens. But I think that celebrities, there's some truth to all these bits, and they probably have trouble staying married because they travel so much. They're, so public. Everything they do is public. There's, the microscope is on them constantly. And I think that's really hard. So, there's probably some truth deep down in there that it's just much easier for, people in a lot of ways once they're divorced, because they can just do their own thing and not have to have that pressure in their life, because they already have all that pressure of being famous.
Yeah. So he reappears. So he's around, or maybe someone posted it. Okay. So this next post is about mental health. So it's titled "It Gets Better." I'm still in the process, but here's what I learned being there for 6 months plus. It gets better. I was as sad and broken as many people. I went through periods of feelings like a loser, crying a lot, pleading, and feeling desperate. I know what bad days are, and they're brutal, and I can relate to all of you struggling. At one of my down points, I was prescribed antidepressants, antipsychotics, and tranquilizers. I decided not to take those, though, and work my way through them without it. But it was a calming feeling that if things get really, really bad, I have something to fall back on. Time heals. It truly does, especially if you get help on it. Rely on your support network. Get out and walk, journal, take care of yourself in at least small things. I started really buying good teas for myself. I love tea. Those are the things that might look like they're not helping much at the time, but it accumulates. And also remember that your brain is going through rewiring, and it's very uncomfortable. It's a biological process. There's many neurologic doctors who study the brain told me that's one of the reasons why it changes. Even if you change a job, there's stress. Unfortunately, there's no way around it. It lasts between 3 to 6 months on average. Once your brain adjusts, things will improve. I'm still going through a lot of emotions. There are still bad days, but I don't feel crushed anymore. I know that one day I'll be fine, and maybe likely even better than before it started. Is this what other people go through?
Well, I like these posts because they're real and from the heart, and they say how people really are feeling. And it's very genuine. And I think a lot of people would feel that same way. Um, it's hard. It does get better. There's ups and downs. It's not a steady curve, but you've just got to stick it out like anything else in life that's difficult. It'll be hard, but everybody who's gotten to the other side gets through it and says ultimately things do get better. You have to take the journey, unfortunately.
Okay, this is our last post. Things are going so fast. I think the Kim Kardashian thing took all the time. Okay, so this one is it's getting started in the divorce process. They're looking to have a simple, frugal divorce. My wife and I are young, both under 30. We've been married for less than 3 years. We don't have kids or a house. Our assets are pretty low, less than 50,000. We relatively have good communication, and neither of us feel the need to punish each other. We're more interested in having an efficient, frugal divorce than in making sure everything is perfectly fair. In other words, I'd rather let her have more of the money or more of our stuff. It means we can avoid hiring our own personal attorneys and turning the process into something adversarial. The basic reason for divorce is that we were both Christian and we were married. But 6 months ago, I deconverted 6 months later, and the marriage isn't working. We feel that all parties would be better off if we got a divorce. My biggest question right now is, given we want to do a collaborative, we want to be collaborative on divorce and aren't interested in playing hardball, and we're more interested in being efficient and frugal than we are in making sure everything is exactly fair. What is the best method of divorce?
Yeah, that's a good question. Usually, with that kind of divorce where everybody's planning to work together, the best thing to do is a collaborative divorce or a mediation, because that involves, people all working together, trying to reach a common goal, being on the same page, and trying to stay out of court. So, in that kind of situation, I think that those people should definitely look into doing some type of mediation or collaborative divorce.
Okay, so that's the last post of the day. Do you have any updates? I know it's gonna be March. It's gonna be like when everyone's New Year's resolution just goes out the door.
Yeah, pretty much. I think so. I don't know. I'm just hoping things can get back to normal here soon. The vaccinations get more widespread and we can really just get back to some normal life. I heard Six Flags is opening all their parks. So that's cool. I can't wait for Disneyland to open.
Well, okay, there we have it. So thank you so much for joining us on the Life After D podcast. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.